Today on Through the Numbers, I'm going to walk you through my best bets for the WNBA playoffs game number 2 on Tuesday and Wednesday night. In our last video, we went 5-2, which is pretty good, so let's keep on rolling with this one. All right, so as always, we're going to jump into outlier.bet, and we're going to start with the Tuesday night game. So the first one I want to look up from that game is, let's look up Jonquel Jones. Jonquel Jones here, and I want to see her points and rebounds. So as you can see here with Jonquel's points and rebounds, she's gone under in 6 of her last 10, 5 straight games. Looking at the minutes, she's been playing less minutes of that time, and the only reason I can think of why off the top is that they have had some players back from injury, including Natasha Hamilton. So that didn't really change much here. She's been back for a few games now. But for whatever reason, she's not getting the same level of minutes that she was. And then even when she did get 30 minutes here in her last game against the Dream, went under as well, and then went under in game 1 on Sunday. Let's look at the head-to-head here. So at head-to-head, she's gone under in every game this season. And I think a big part of that is because we want to look up her matchup, which will be against Tina Charles. And this is why I love this matchup, because Tina Charles is... It's not letting me type it, but Tina Charles is a tough matchup. And yeah, as you can see in the last 2 seasons, she's only gone over once in a game where she's had to play against Tina Charles. So that makes me like this even better. We look at their ranks, and it's a tough matchup too. They allow the 4th least points to the center position and the 3rd least rebounds to the center position, and a lot of that has to do with Tina Charles when she's in the lineup. Probably if she played most of the season, their rank might be a lot better. So I really like this one. This is one I've already bet. And if you like it too, yeah, maybe go for it. All right, let's move on to the next one. Sticking in this game, I want to look at, and I'm not sure if I want to do the points or the points and assists. I think I might do points and assists, but I want to look up Rhyne Howard. So, and as you can see, there's already a line out. So I got this at 20.5. If you can get it at 20.5, I'd do it. When it gets to 19, that's when you're in a tricky situation there. It gets a little bit tougher. But as you can see, the matchup is good for the under. And she's gone under in 6 straight. Let's check the minutes there. I mean, 2 of those games, low minutes. Like, she didn't play, I think, at all in the 4th quarter because it was such a big blowout in game 1. So this could have gone over. But, I still think that the Liberty are going to control this series. And they're probably going to close it out. It's only a best of 3 series. They're probably going to close it out in this one. So I would expect, more fight from the Dream before. And maybe she stays in longer if all is not lost and it's a closer game. But, they completely shut her down in the 1st quarter. She didn't really start to put on points until the game got out of hand. And then at that point, they were just like, look, we just don't need to risk you. Let's save it for the next game. So this one's a tougher one. I'm not going to tell you to lock this one in, but I do like it. As you can see here, the head-to-head matchup is sound. The matchup stats here are sound. And then, like I said, looking at her last 10, that looks great. You change it to road games. She's gone under more on the road. But in general, she's just gone under 65% on the year. She's gone under this number. So with the matchup, the data, and sort of the trend, this one's a scary one. It's definitely going to be a sweat, but I still like it enough that I did bet this, but maybe don't put a full unit on this one is what I would say. All right, let's check out another one here. Oh, I forgot to look at her points. We can look at her points real quick. But see, her points is more scary for me because I feel like the assists she could be hit or miss on, but she does always seem to put up points. You know, same kind of deal. She's only gone over in one game against them. And 16 points is a lot. So what? Oh, and you know what? Oof. See, now it's making me think that maybe, it's up to 17 now. We're at 17 now on this. Oh, yeah, this is kind of, you know what? I think I'm changing my mind here. I think if I was going to bet this, again, I'd still maybe not put a full unit on it. But I think if I was going to bet this, if you're getting 17 and a half, and maybe a little bit less juice I'd like there, but 17 and a half, I think is a pretty good number given that she's gone under 68% of the year. And in this head-to-head matchup, she's gone under every time she's played them this season. And last season, except for one game. The worry is just that she can get hot shooting the 3 ball. So she can get those points up real fast. But you know what? Yeah, if I was going to do this, I think 17 and a half points is the way to go. But again, I'll just reiterate for the third time. Maybe don't go all out on this one because it is a bit scary. It will be a sweat. Let's move over to the other Tuesday game, which I believe is the Aces versus the Seattle Storm. And let's just start with one that I liked in last game. That last I checked, the line has stayed the same. And yeah, right now, so this is what we bet in the last game, and it hit. She ended up hitting this, I want to say, early third quarter. She ended up going over this. She finished with 24. Maybe it was a little bit later than that, but I felt that we were pretty safe on this bet here. Like I said, you can look at this. It's kind of the same application as last time. Sure, you can look at the matchup and say, kind of scary, but if you look at the recent production, she's been going over it. I want to mention this. It doesn't seem to matter because now Izzy MAGBEGOR is a game time decision. So it doesn't seem to affect her numbers at all recently if Izzy is in or out of the lineup. But the head-to-head matchup here, like I said, she's been hitting over on 21. I have a good feeling she can do it again. But what I also did look at, so I don't know if I'd bet both, but if you're between the two, you could also make the case. Oh, they moved this line. So this got moved. So I was looking at this at 24 and a half. If you can still get it at 24 and a half on Bet365 and FanDuel. But if I was going to bet this, I wouldn't go any higher than 24 and a half. Because again, like you're looking, she's just barely clearing it. But she does have a better hit rate on the season at this number is the only reason why I kind of like this. But again, if we go back, 2 points and assists, much safer margin that she's beating it. Like, you know what I mean? She's only just barely clearing in 2, whereas if you look at the points, rebounds, and assists, some of these are a little bit closer than I would like. And a couple of these games, she didn't even get any rebounds. So, like I said, points and assists, I think, is the safer play. So that's what I already bet this, and I think it's still in play again, whether or not Ezzy's back in the lineup. Now, one more thing I want to mention about this game, and this play is really dependent on whether Ezzy MAGBEGOR is in the lineup or not. But we hit her. If you follow our IG channel, she was the best bet on IG. And we also talked about her rebounds and assists, which is been bumped from last time from 7.5 to 8.5. But we're not going to look at that one because, look, it's still interesting. Don't get me wrong. I'm probably still going to bet this if Ezzy's out, but we're looking at more of a sweat here. If I was going to do this, I would look more to her rebounds. Because I think it's just more, this is just, the rebound matchup is more catered to her. As you can see, like, they give up, the Aces give up the most rebounds to this position. So that's where I would go with this. If I was looking at her rebounds and assists. And like I said, on the head-to-head matchup, she's cleared 5, and she had 8 in the last game without Ezzy. And I believe we take Ezzy out of the lineup. Yeah, she's gone over in both. And then she's gone over in every game she's played without Ezzy in the lineup. But then, like I said, why we really want to watch to see if Ezzy is in the lineup. And if you follow us on IG at Through the Numbers, I'll probably put up a story on this, and maybe I'll try to put up a story on YouTube as well. Once we find out, because if she's out, if she's in the lineup, mind you, there's a bit of minutes fluctuation here because I think she'll still get 30 given the way she's playing. But yeah, it's not as appealing with her. And then with her, there's just no data there for us to know how this would affect this matchup. It's juiced to the gills now too. But yeah, that's if I was going to bet the rebounds. But where I would look, if you want to bet Gabby, is on the points, rebounds, and assists. Because look at that in the last 2. She's gone way over. Obviously, if Ezzy's out, I love this. Look at that. Look at that matchup right there. That looks wonderful. The head-to-head looks wonderful. And the recent production looks wonderful. So if Ezzy's out, I'm going to be betting Gabby over 20.5 points, rebounds, and assists. I might look to parlay maybe an alt line on her points and her rebounds in a same game parlay if Ezzy's out again. But yeah, that's something to consider before we move on to the next game. I will try to let you guys know when I know what's going on with that, but something to keep in mind. Especially if you've already been looking at these lines and you're kind of looking at the recent production. You're like, oh, Gabby can hit this. Like, yeah, but let's wait. Let's see what happens with Ezzy before we make that move. Let's move on to the Wednesday games. A couple lines I like. We'll start with, what might be my favorite play just because I said it in the last video. It's, they've already moved it. No. So I bet this already, but I bet it at 34.5. It's moved down to 33.5, but I'll still make the case for it. Again, recent production. This is all about matchup. It's all about this matchup here and how the Suns have contained her in every game this season, including the last playoff game. The only part of this that scares me away from it at all is not her points, not her assists and not her rebounds. It's her points. Because she's Caitlin Clark. She can get on a roll and she can hit threes. But she just hasn't done it yet against this Suns team. And she struggled against, teams that play tough defense. So I'm going under with it. I'm not even going to think about it. Yeah, they changed the line today. But I would still consider the 33.5, just because, look, 54% on the season. Sure, she wasn't, at the production level in the first half that she was in the second half. But, you look at this game, you look at games against tough teams, and it's been pretty tough for her. And I think she's also struggled from the road. Yeah, she's had more struggles from the road too, which is consistent with the theme of the Fever season. They've just been a dominating team and dominating on offense. from home at home, but on the road, it's kind of been a different story. They've still been good, but I like this under, and I like kind of almost all of her unders. The only one that would scare me away is the points. I mean, 19's a lot, but as you can see, she did go over once against them when you go points. It's more, I would say her points and rebounds is in play. Again, based on matchup, based on the head-to-head. You want a better points and rebounds? I don't hate that. I think I'm going to bet both. I'm going to bet the points and rebounds, and I'm going to bet the points, rebounds, and assists. And I couldn't talk you off. Oh, this moved. Okay, so at 12.5, this is a little bit more scary. I don't think I would do this at 12.5, even though she's still consistently going. She's still gone under because she did get pretty close in the last game, and I'd like to think she can maybe improve a little bit against the Sun in this second matchup. But again, they could also make adjustments to try and keep her locked down too. So it could end up going the other way. I wouldn't bet the under at 12.5, 13.5 maybe. But yeah, like I said, points, rebounds, and assists under 33.5. If you can get it at 34, more power to you. Under 25.5 points and rebounds, I like that too. Couldn't talk you off that. So yeah, that's what I would go for in this one. Another one I want to look at for this same game, and this one is just a lean right now. I have not bet this, but I was looking at it today, and it's really interesting. Her points and rebounds was interesting, but I wanted to look more at her points and rebounds interesting. You can see she's only gone under this though 49% of the year, but it's the head-to-head matchup, which is intriguing. She, for whatever reason, Brionna Jones has struggled against the Fever, and a lot of it doesn't make sense because this should be a good matchup for her, at least on the points side. And I like the points and rebounds just because look at that, like she hasn't got 6 under. 6 under was the closest she got to it, and that was at the beginning of the year. What are the and this is she's the last 2 games way under both of that, and she played, upwards of 25 minutes. So I don't know what's going on there. I haven't bet this yet, and I'm not sure if I will. I just want to bring it up because I also look at her points and see her overs plus money, which means the books are anticipating that she's going to go under. And the main reason why, again, if you look at the season, 54% on the year. Again, she had a huge hot stretch where she's just been killing it, and then her last 3 sort of coming down to earth. And I don't know if this is a thing, but I know there was a time this season where Jackie Young on the Aces was absolutely lighting it up, and then she was lighting it up in the Olympics, and then since then, she's disappeared. She's been a ghost. We haven't seen the same Jackie Young appear yet for the Aces. Maybe she's saving it for the playoffs, but yeah. Here, look at this head-to-head. Yeah, like if I was going to bet the under on Brionna Jones in this game, I would go for the points just because I think part of it is the other scorers on Connecticut are just like Alyssa Thomas. We bet on her in the last game. She lit it up against the Fever. Dejanay Carrington gets up for these matchups because she likes playing against Caitlin Clark, so she can score. Obviously DeWanna Bonner had a good game. She scored a lot of points in the last one. I think she had like 16 or something. And then off the bench, Marina Mabrey has always had strong point scoring games against the Fever just because she matches up so well against where they're weakest. So maybe that's the reason why in this matchup she just doesn't get the volume. Because yeah, look at that. The average attempts, only 8 field goals. So if she's only getting 8 field goals attempts against this team, she would have to make every single one to get the over on this. So I'm kind of convincing myself to bet this now. I'm still leaning Still leaning. Let's have a quick look at let's just look at the last 10. What's the average field goal? So the average field goal is way up. And let's look at on the year. What's the average? Her average field goal. So yeah. So on average, she usually makes 10 more field goal attempts. Or sorry, she usually makes 2 more field goal attempts. Which if she's making 10 field goal attempts per game, that makes us a little bit scarier because she could definitely go over. But if she's only making 8, odds are she's not going to go 100% from the field. Sure, you also got to take free throws in mind there. But yeah, this is still a lean for me, but it's interesting. I will let you guys know if I do end up betting this or not. Let's do 2 more just because there's 2 more I really like. I really wanted to go back to Fee in this one, but she let us down in the last one. But you know who didn't let us down was Natasha Cloud. Natasha Cloud balled out in that game. Let's just look at, we bet her over on points and assists. So we got her at 17.5. She's at 19.5 now. So look at this. She finished with 43 points and assists. She had this at halftime. She hit the over on this. So look, if you wanted to run it back with this, again, the matchup's not great, as I said last time. The head-to-head at 17.5, the head-to-head was great. It's a little bit scarier here, and you don't know if Kalia Copper is going to be more involved as she gets her health up. Brittany Griner was doing nothing in this game either, so I would expect her to have hopefully a bigger role in the next game, but we'll see. I still like Natasha Cloud, but if I was going to bet her in this game, I'd bet the points over. I'd bet her over 10.5. As you can see, the head-to-head matchup here is pretty good. She's making 14 field goals attempts against them, which means for her to clear 10.5, she would just have to make 6 of 14. And that's not including, if she gets two attempts to the free throw line. So I think 10.5 is a pretty, mind you, this is inflated because of how much she did in the last game, but let's filter that out actually, just so I don't. Hold on. Yeah, so if we filter that out, she's still taking 12 attempts per game. So if she hits half of those, you're well over. If she hits half of those, you're at 12. And she is on the season. What's her field goal percentage? Look at us. Yeah, 40%. So that makes it close. But again, like I said, I'm not going to think too much about that. I'm just going to look at the matchup history, and I think she can hit 10. I believe you can get an alt line at 12 for plus money on DraftKings if you were feeling frisky. But again, if you're getting a decent number at 10.5, I like this. I like it a lot. And if you don't like that, maybe fade it. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna bet her over on the points here. All right, let's move on. Let's do one more before we wrap this thing up. I think I've given you guys plenty of plays today, and that's my alarm telling me it's almost dinner time. So one more. Which one we're gonna do? This is not my favorite, but it's hard to argue with the recent production here. And let's go to Bridget Carleton on the Minnesota Lynx. And the first thing you're gonna see when we look at this is the line's only 13.5 for points and rebounds. That's not that high. Not that bad. And you can look at long-term data and it doesn't look great for her. But in the more recent term, she's getting lots of minutes. This is a great matchup for her with the Mercury. And she's gone over this in 7 of her last 10. Like I said, you go look at the home data, and sure, it's a different story here, but this play is more of a matchup and what have you done for me lately kind of thing. Because if you look at the matchup in the past, like earlier in the season, you know, Carleton wasn't really getting the same level of looks, whereas now in these last two, you know, it's a completely different story. Let me see if I can filter out some of these games that she played, just so we get a better idea. So yeah, she's not taking, she only took, hold on, let's do this. So for field goals, yeah, she's only taking 5, but you know, that with the rebounds, like she's usually good for 5 or 6 rebounds. It seems like not so much in the head-to-head, but as you can see in the last 2 matchups, she's been good. So we're looking at, she can get us 4 if she's gonna get 4 and 6, 10. That's, like I said, there I could definitely talk you off of this one. I'm kind of talking myself out of it right now, but look, 7 out of 10, and the last 2 games she's gone over, and she's been playing well for them. She's gonna hit threes. So yeah, I'm gonna bet this one. I would urge you, if you're gonna fade me on any of the plays that I gave out today, it would be either this or the Brionna Jones one. But I still like this matchup, and I'm gonna bet it. If you like it too, you know, let's ride. Otherwise, I mean, let me know what picks you guys like and which ones you don't like. Tell me if there's anything I missed, like if there's any ones I overlooked. I would love to hear from you guys so I can look into that as well, because you know what, this is all about getting better, and whether it's me getting better or helping you guys get better at seeing through the numbers. That's the whole point of this. So if you learned anything, if you like this video, if you want to support the channel, like, subscribe, share it with people. If not, you know, do you. It's all good. But see you next time. Peace.